welcome to a celebration about all the people out there that are helping ordinary people every day with a carnivore diet. That's right. We're going to look at these brilliant people that have millions of followers, some of them hundreds of thousands of followers, others. Because one of the things that made me want to do this video was that I often do some coaching client calls, and many people feel a little bit like, well, I'm weird. I'm not normal. My family think there's nobody wants to do this. You're the only one that's eating this way. And they feel very isolated. So 2 times this week, I thought I've got to do something about how many people are out there influencing and making a big difference to people's lives on a regular basis, and you have big followings, and just prove that there is a lot of people out there, a lot of expertise. And that's one of the things I also want to focus on, because they're often told by their friends and family, even though they look better and they have had lower blood pressure, or they've got all these great things actually resolving, they're often told by friends and family, well-meaning friends and family, just a little bit misinformed, wow, this way of eating is not good for you. And then they have nowhere to turn. They feel that there's no one they can show on their YouTube, or there's certainly no one in the mainstream, but there's no one on YouTube that is an expert. And there's hundreds of experts out there. So, I mean, there's heart surgeons, there's brain surgeons, there's surgeons, there are doctors, there are eye doctors, there are nephrologists, there are millions of people out there following these experts. So I just wanted to celebrate all those ones that are really hardworking and doing all these great things. And it's just really going to be a celebration of all these people that are helping. So I just want to give a shout out to all these people and just say, look, here's an expert, Sean Baker. He's a surgeon, and so many people have said he's brilliant. I worked with him, and he trained me to be an online coach, or MeetRx did. Now, this isn't a small fry. This is someone with 210,000 people following him on YouTube and 271,000 people following him on Instagram. Now, I'm not going to keep going on about those numbers. Those numbers are going to be on every single slide. But he is brilliant. He's very knowledgeable, and he's very passionate. And it's him that's helped so many people, but he isn't the only one. And I think one of the things I want to say is the medical doctors, the ones that have their colleagues not happy that they're doing this way, these people that are fighting for carnivore, they're putting their head above the parapet, and they're sticking to their opinions and what they believe, and it's just really good. So then, obviously, Bella, the steak and butter girl. I mean, I know from emails from clients just how much time she spends. So this is another influencer with a lot of people behind her, and I think it's really interesting that she spends so much time on a one-to-one basis emailing all the people that are concerned. So influencers aren't just sitting there looking glamorous and trying to get views. They're actually helping people. So you can reach out and you can get all these true stories. And it is absolutely amazing how many people will follow Bella and how many clients will message me. It really is incredible this year. So many clients have said, I did this thing. I emailed her, and she just gave me a really personal message, and she put a lot of effort into it. So another carnivore influencer, I think, is really good. Well, here's one with 2.35 million viewers on YouTube. So if you're out there and you're following carnivore, and somebody says to you, well, you're very isolated, you're not normal, this is just not great for you to be doing this. There's no doctors, there's no experts that think it's good, because that's what the mainstream is trying to make you believe. Well, that's not true, because there are doctors. So we've had two medical trained people who are really interested in the carnivore diet. And Dr. Ken Berry is one of those people. I mean, I was lucky enough to be following his journey. So I've seen his development of being somebody that thought greens were okay to being a carnivore. It's just incredible. And again, possibly a lot of pushback when he first started, but it's good to see someone like that out there. Then you've got Dr. Chaffey, who's a brilliant example of what to look like. Very humble, unassuming person, spends a lot of time, speaks to lots and lots of people. Brilliant information going out there, nice and clear and concise, absolutely amazing. He's come in as a guest on the Steak and Butter Gang quite a few times, giving up his time because he wants to help people. And some of his information about plants, for instance, and I'm trying to pick on little things that are individual to each of these people, is invaluable, because not eating plants is the biggest issue that carnivores I coach tend to find is a problem. They're not eating plants. That must be really bad. Oh, wow. How can this be healthy? You're not having cabbage. Well, Dr. Chaffey does a brilliant presentation about how plants can kill you. And again, you're talking about another doctor, and possibly, he would have had pushback from his colleagues in that field. But it's great because he's sticking to his guns. So Dr. Lisa, an eye doctor. So one of the things that I'm trying to get across is there isn't just like a niche of people in the medical profession who maybe specialize in heart health, for instance. It's right across the board. So we've had a couple of surgeons. We've got an eye doctor now. We'll have some people with mental health. Dr. Lisa's also a great example of sustainability. Now, she's been doing the carnivore diet for nearly 14 years. In her 50s, she looks incredibly vibrant, fantastic. So she's also a great example of what you can do. And again, a really good following. So I just want to keep going on about the fact that there are people out there that are worried about the carnivore diet because they're weird, apparently, or they're isolated, or nobody else does this. Nobody in the medical profession thinks this is good. And that is not true. It's patently not true, because I'm giving you evidence here of all these fantastic influencers. And I haven't got enough time. I tell you how many people responded is incredible. And the people that they recommended, I just, I didn't have enough time today because there are so many people being helped by all of these influences. And it's just amazing. I just want to celebrate every single one. Dr. Kilt, now another doctor, fertility specialist, you see. So we're talking about another area of health. His Instagram is incredibly entertaining. He's a thoroughly nice guy, really knows his stuff. Glycosylation is the thing he talks about a lot. So he talks about a different area again. So if you are out there and you're thinking about fertility and you're trying carnivore and somebody says, well, that's rubbish, you need to have your fruit and veg, you could check out Dr. Kilt, couldn't you? And again, 107,000 followers on Instagram. He must be doing something right. And like I say, from the messages, which I'll share a couple of the messages later, it is amazing. Dr. Sarah Zaldevar, which is sounds like a Bond villain, doesn't it? Again, great messages. A few of these people I've spoken to on podcasts and had, as guests. Dr. Sarah was on. She's really interesting to listen to about aging, longevity, which is a big topic. We all want to live forever, I think, and she's a great person to go to. A reasonably big following at the moment. I think that's going to happen to grow as more people get to see her and she's more out there. And it is incredible. Another doctor. So I hope you're getting the theme here, that it isn't just people in their lounge or sitting in their garden thinking, well, I think carnivore is really great, I'm going to go online and I'm going to talk about it. These are medically trained people, and they are actually really brave because they are sticking to their guns of what's best for their patients. And I think that is incredible. So the whole point of this is to celebrate what's going on. Now, some people aren't medically trained, but they know absolutely so much about this. One of the things I really love about Kelly is that she is so clear and inspiring, and she just gives little hints that are just fantastic. So if you're struggling, for instance, not understanding how to start and you want to start off, she's really good at talking about committing rather than setting goals, for instance. That's a really good tip. And these people are golden because that's such a simple way to look at things. Just make a commitment that you're going to do something for this month rather than I'm going to lose 10 pounds. And again, look at the figures on there, nearly 100,000 on YouTube, nearly 100,000 on Instagram. So again, you don't have to be medically trained. You just have to be really interested and intelligent and look at what's going on and look at how your clients are reacting and build a following like that. And she's amazing. So I'm going to go right off the track now. Jordan Peterson, love him or hate him, he is a big influencer when it comes to the carnivore diet. And again, he's got 6.32 million people on YouTube and 5.8 on Instagram. Now, I would absolutely admit that most of those people are not on there because he's a carnivore, But if I look at the last year of how many people I have dealt with as clients, Jordan Peterson's name does come up as a big influence. The person I first heard talking about it was Jordan Peterson. I would say I could have included Joe Rogan into this, because people listening to Joe Rogan's podcast then subsequently went into carnivore, but I think it's down to the people that he had on, but I'm not 100% certain. Nutrition with Judy, another great resource, again, completely different, very good with hormones, really, really clear, fantastic information. I just love the way she presents. Everything's clean, crisp, and the information is just easily digestible, which is what you want. Again, another big following. So I hope people out there will realize it's not the same people following every single one, because they're all very niche, they're all very different, they're all very good with carnivore, and very compassionate. And some of the messages I had about how they've dealt with these people and had their life change was just amazing. So then you got Lily Kane, which is a really good sort of homegrown story, really big following on YouTube, and a bit quirky with her videos. Great information, and also will stick to her guns. I think this is one of the things that we need to learn as carnivores, to be confident in what we're doing, not to be apologetic. That's one of the things I struggled with when I first did it, even though I'd done low carb and keto. I think going carnivore, some people just did. I was in a restaurant once and somebody said, he's the weird one, pointing to me, because everybody on that table was not as healthy. But this is the point of this video, to celebrate all these great influences that have helped you get through to good health. And hopefully these are people you can point to say to your family and friends who are not believing, well, hang on, look, there's all these experts. I'm telling you, this is the tip of the iceberg. I could not include everybody, but I'm just going through a few of the big ones there. Oh, this guy, I wouldn't even talk about him. He's rubbish. So yeah, so then you've got Michaela Peterson. And again, I get a lot of messages, especially with people with joint pain. Carnivore is great. And then I will do a call with them and I'll say, who was the person that sort of got you into carnivore in the first place? And they'll say Michaela Peterson. I know she's not a carnivore influencer, but certainly a big influence on people that go carnivore, especially as she had such a terrible journey. And, the honesty of her journey is one of the big things she had going for her. So that's what I'd like to say about Michaela. And again, we're talking nearly 100,000, so 197,000 people are following her. So therefore, they're being exposed to this stuff about carnivore. And surely if they're following her, they know her journey and they know that the carnivore diet was really helpful. Great stuff. All right. Okay. So Maria Emrick, this is another person that's really good. I think with food, for instance, great recipes, good fun. They're always very interesting to watch. Makes me laugh ever such a lot that she gets her food tasted and it always looks absolutely scrummy. Let's be honest. It's really about food, isn't it? I mean, when you're carnivore, you've got to make sure that it's sustainable and enjoyable. And boy, does she make it look sustainable and enjoyable with that great sense of humor. One of the things I found quite interesting, I've got a little graph about what people thought was really good, some of the attributes of the influencers. And I put meal plans as one of the reasons, but that was not picked by anybody. But food, and Maria was picked actually, but not for that, more for being inspiring. But food, I think, is her thing. See, so if you're looking for tips and tricks on food, there's plenty of places to go. But like I say, that's a good place to look at. Laura Spath is somebody that I think is incredible for her honesty, actually, because to do the things she's done recently, I mean, she's got a great big following, 154,000 on YouTube and 101,000 on Instagram. So again, one of the things I like about carnivore is we're really straight and honest with everything. We just tell it like it is. I will talk about Dr. Philip Avadia, who's not in this little thing in a minute. But anyway, going back to Laura, yeah, fantastic. Being that honest, doing her journey, as you can see, her amazing journey from being slightly overweight to being thinner and then being worried about the loose skin and doing something about that and being honest enough to put that out there and not thinking that it's going to let her followers down. Then you've got Professor Bart Kay, who's following there, 32,500 is really good. I'm one of those followers for a long time. Doesn't really do Instagram much. He's more of a YouTube personality, obviously a professor and a real expert in nutrition science and exercise physiology. Yes, he's I can't remember what Ken Berry called him, refreshing, something like that. But yes, very knowledgeable. A couple of comments that I got was, it's funny but knowledgeable and doesn't let people off the hook with the propaganda. So that's a really good thing. So it isn't really about who is your favorite. It's more about what is the influence they're having and how are they helping you. And he's very good. Today here, what I learned, 2.1 million on YouTube. He's a carnivore, but he does experiments. Didn't go in front of the screen for a long period of time. So there's a lot of studies. There was a lot of academic background to his information. But in the end, it was fascinating to see how he presented the carnivore diet, and obviously had a lot of pushback. And that's one of the things that we get, a lot of pushback. So I'm trying to give you lots of ammunition to fight back against people who think this is a strange way of eating. Bronson there is an up-and-coming influencer, but full of great information. I think, this is somebody that really gets into the fitness, because you'll get the thing about, well, I'm not having carbs, I can't build any muscle, I won't have any energy to exercise. And of course, that is pretty ridiculous to say. And so if you're looking at that, I know it says ketogenic, carnivore is mainly ketogenic, but it's not aiming to get you in ketosis. A lot of the times it's more about nutrient density. So that's that. Right, so we're going to just get rid of that for a minute, and we're going to just go over here and let's have a look. I want to thank you for tuning in, and that's there. See, look at that. And I wanted you to think of this like more of a fun thing, like the top 20 films, because when you see this, the top 20 of films, it's not about what is the top film. It's about films, isn't it? It's about all the things that are good. I wouldn't say there's only one film. There's no one film I'm going to watch all the time. I think there's hundreds of films I'd like to watch. And of course, there's like 20 that I think are really fabulous. But if someone said to me, is there any life-changing moments that maybe one film did? I'd have to think long and hard about it, but it wouldn't mean that I didn't like all the other films. So that's all I really wanted to say on that particular thing as well. So that's how I'd like you to look at it. There was just a few things I wanted to share with you. So this was what I found particularly interesting. So let's just get rid of that banner there. Right. So when I got the respondents, I was really interested to see what people found inspiring. So I did put things like meal ideas in and being funny, which is why I didn't get any votes probably. Well, I'm not funny either, but I think I am. And information was a really big hit, a really big hitter. And I think that's the thing. All of those influences, and I did leave a space for other, by the way, so you could put your own, and that did happen, which was glorious to see, because I could have done a longer list, but this live would have been a bit too long. Information. So we're out there giving information, and that information is information you can use to make sure that your friends and family don't knock you off carnivore. That's the thing. The information is good. Many of the influencers will cite studies, will use studies on screen. But I think it's particularly good if they cite the studies and you can link and click on that study. I tell you what, most people won't, but you've got that armory in your armory, basically. So if, for instance, you're having a row with your doctor over a particular thing and you feel, this doesn't seem to be the information that I keep seeing, and it's certainly not my personal experience, you could look at that study and it gives you a little bit of confidence. Or if there's information out there that your friends and family are pushing on to you, red meat is really bad, it rots in your colon or whatever, there's plenty of information, but it's backed up by science, and it's also presented by doctors and people in authority or people with a lot of knowledge that are not shown on the mainstream. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And then the rest is sort of broadly 20%, 16% there. So you've got caring. And this is one of the things that I think is underestimated, because we talk about this compound, we talk about the HbA1c being flawed, or we talk about the biochemistry. Clients often say to me, that they went to their medical practitioner, and this is not knocking the mainstream, it's just how it is, and they didn't feel cared about, or they didn't feel listened to. And I think when you've got these people doing podcasts, when you've got the influencers talking to real people or doing their community meetings, everyone feels included and cared for. And that's a big thing. You know, I know that actually when I brought this idea for the video, I think it upset a few people, but they'd not even seen what I was going to say. But I was just trying to get across that it's a celebration of what everyone's doing, because this is a big deal to me, and health is a big deal. I lost both of my parents when I was very young. They followed a diet that was low fat, and it was very grain based. My mother didn't have red meat, didn't eat any fats, and she died of colon cancer, the very thing that this diet is supposed to give you. But I think actually the lack of it was possibly the reason there. And this is another one. 16.7% said it was about relating to their situation and having that empathy, which I think is really incredible, because everybody that I think was in that list has got a personal story that they're prepared to share, and they share it publicly, which is really difficult. You know, one of the things I've really struggled with as a personal trainer before I realized about low carb in my 40s was I was a little bit plump, even though I was eating the healthy diet, you know, the eat well diet. I was having oatmeal in the morning and skim milk and orange juice and tons of fruit, and I was avoiding red meat, and I was trimming the fat off the meat, and I was doing all the things that you should do. I've never drunk alcohol ever. I don't smoke. And I was a personal trainer running at least 10 miles 3 times a week, and I was getting fatter. I was pre-diabetic, and lower left quadrant pain, had a colonoscopy, everything was bad. And I never felt anybody would want to hear that story, because I thought it sounded like a failure. But people related to it because they've been through that story. So now I'm a bit more public about it. But I can't believe how that's helped clients. And then the last thing is best qualified. Now, this is a reasonable chunk, and maybe I should have put some more options in. But I do think being qualified is important, but it isn't the be-all and end-all. So there's many influencers out there I've learned such a lot from. So I would use Kelly Hogan as an example. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant presenter, brilliant with her knowledge, really enthusiastic. But I don't think she qualified as a doctor. I don't think that, but I think it's totally irrelevant, because it's clear that the information is coming from the heart, and it's really, really empowering, and it absolutely means everything. And I remember when I went through the medical system with all my different things, I never met anybody that knew as much about what was going on as Kelly. So there you go. But I do think qualifications help you talk to your friends and family. So if you want to put a video on from a doctor because your friends and family will only listen to a doctor, then you have loads of choice. You have loads of choice. So yes, I think that was it. Some of the things there, I'm not going to attribute them to anybody in particular, because I think it's all about celebration, but it's just nice to see what difference is being made to people. So I love her outlook, not just in carnivore, but also living a life with gratitude. She is not dogmatic, she is consistent. So that's really good. Actually, I could tell you that's 2 different people there. His pragmatism and realistic approach to carnivore and improving health with a good dose of science and humour. He was the reason I tried carnivore. So yeah, I obviously know who these people are. Inspiring, just inspiring. You know, having an influencer that's inspiring has got to be good. Love scientific knowledge explained in a way the average person can understand it. Plus the accent doesn't hurt. Her story and Laura Spath's story resonated with me, but you could only have one choice. Funny and articulate and takes no prisoners. And he's the original, medically trained, and we can't see that. There we go, medically trained and has a wide influence. So it is just brilliant that we've got these influencers that we can get to our beck and call whenever we want by just switching on YouTube or showing them to your friends, get them off your case. So yeah, let's show that one. So Karen said, don't forget to mention yourself. Very important, you also share. So there you go, I've done it, but it isn't really about me. I was just trying to celebrate all these different influencers. And it was really nice that some people voted before the live stream. So I do appreciate that. Just before you go, I would be interested in the comments and a couple of quick questions, which is about your carnivore journey, because I'm trying to build on my knowledge, really, of all the carnivores out there. I was quite surprised how many people did vote, so I do appreciate that. And you can still vote for who you want to celebrate as the person that really is the influencer that you just want to make sure they know they did something good for you. So celebrate your favorite carnivores really is what it's all about. Anyway, your own personal journey. Dairy, yes or no? Do you have dairy in your carnivore way of eating? And if you don't, I'd love to know why. And if you do, why you feel that you need to include it. I think that would be really good. Let's have a look at another one here. So let's get the banners up. Chicken. Yeah. So one of the things I'm interested in is my love affair with chicken when I was a bodybuilder in my 20s has absolutely gone, and I can't feel satisfied with chicken. So I'd be interested in whether you're still eating chicken, yes or no, and what the reasons. Have you reintroduced it? Did you get bored of it and then think, well, there you go, I'm gonna have this after all? So that's that. Here's one. It's not carnivore, and it's coffee. Now I should have qualified this with caffeine as well. So I drink decaffeinated coffee, Swiss water decaf, and it is something that I enjoy. But I do know there's quite a few people out there that think coffee isn't carnivore, so you shouldn't have it. So I'd just be interested to know if you have coffee or not, and sort of if you've got the reasons. And then we'll get into sort of any other questions that people have put on the live stream as well. So this is a new thing for me, the live streams. I've learned a lot today about doing the live streams, and I would have to say that it's been a bit of a journey for me today, but I'm hoping that this is a positive thing I'm doing here. I just wanted to celebrate all the good work that's going on out there, but there you go. So yes, comments, let's have a little look. Let's have a look at the comments here. Get rid of that one. Thank you very much, really appreciate it. And let's just see if we can do it. Not really super slick, is it? But we'll make sure it is. So right, let's have a look. Comments, have we got one? Yeah, that's okay. Do I recommend a high-fat approach to carnivore for fat loss or a leaner protein approach? Well, this is one of the questions that definitely divides the community, and I think the best answer is it's individual. It's all down to how you are responding. I always think it's best to try just the sort of whole food, because like a ribeye is by weight about 50-50 when it comes to fat and protein. Probably sort of when you look at calories, although we don't really like calories, but if people understand calories, it's about 60-30. So that would be an interesting thing to do. Just start with the whole foods, all the carnivore foods, especially if you're just starting out, and see how your body composition goes and your health. Because I don't think it is about weight loss necessarily. I think eating this way is more about health, actually. I think that's the interesting thing to look at. How is your health? And see how it goes. So start off like that for maybe 4 weeks. And if you feel that you're not healing, if you feel that your body composition is not where you want it to be, then you could either add fat or you could add protein. But I don't like people not eating enough protein. I think protein is quite important. Make sure you get enough, especially if you've come from a diet where you've been restricting, under eating, not having enough protein, vegan, vegetarian, where you're not having enough fats. It's just very, very much individual. So higher fat approach does work for a lot of people. Seems to be in vogue at the moment, but anyway, it's too individual to say one approach works and one doesn't. It's definitely down to the individual. But it's a good question. Thank you for that. So yes, somebody here, they just said that these people would, ones they want to celebrate, they really helped, and it's just nice. Thank you. for putting that on there. That's good. And I suppose one of the things that surprised me is, even though those big numbers are there, if someone really helps you, it doesn't matter the numbers. I got a lot of people contact me with influencers who I'd actually not even heard of. So this is really good for me, because it just shows there's so many people out there doing really good work, and I think we should just celebrate it. So I'm really thankful for that. I hope you enjoyed the live stream. And if you want to vote and you haven't already, you can. And it's a really simple form. It's just, you can click who you want, or you can add people that I maybe not heard of, and it'd be really nice to know the reason. And then maybe we could do a follow-up and just celebrate a few other names, because I just think there's so many people doing such good work. Anyway, it's been nice. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed it. If you've got any comments, I would really appreciate the comments. And if you want to vote, then there are links in all of the different places that I've posted this. So that's basically it. Yes. So yeah, think of it like your top 20 films, and that will be it. Have a good day.